All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Makar Kwadash, the one and to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson on how all of these podcasts and social media has revealed that, in fact, the scriptures are true when they say that a woman's heart is snares and nets, man. All right, the internet and all of these podcasts has exposed these women, man, and shown that they are very corrupt and very easily corruptible, right? Because through these podcasts, we've been able to find out a lot of things about women's arrogance, right? Things that obviously we already have known from our interactions with women in our personal lives anyway, some of these things, but we've been able to really see, like, they've basically, because they want that clout and they want that attention, have revealed a lot of things that's in their mind on these podcasts and through things like TikTok and Instagram and all of these things. They've revealed how evil their minds really think, man. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth Yahweh shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Right? These podcasts and the internet has revealed all the hearts, all the women's snares and nets that they have in their mind. And now, not necessarily all of these things, but it's exposed a lot of wickedness that they do, man. Right? It's exposed a lot of the evil things that they do, and as long as they can get some clout and they can get a viral clip, a lot of these women are prepared to expose a lot of the madness that they do, man. They'll be talking about all the things that they've did with celebrities, right? And they're thinking that they're embarrassing the celebrity, man. Excuse me. But embarrassment goes two ways, man. So all the things excuse me. All the things that they're trying to expose about these men, they're also exposing about themselves too, that they took part in and was the other side of those interactions, man. Verse 26, behold, this I have found, saith the preacher, who the preacher was King Solomon, counting one by one. So Solomon, when he was in his kingdom, wasn't just living it up, living a luxurious life. He was doing social experiments, man. Right? He was doing experiments using himself and the world to test out things, right? He was testing out things and like trying to learn understanding when he was in his kingdom, man. He wasn't just flowing around spending up money and living it large. You know what I mean? Being somewhere, what's the term? Epicurean. He wasn't doing that. Behold, this I have found, saith the preacher, counting one by one, to find out the account, to find out the meaning, to find out the understanding, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. Right? His soul was seeking to find a righteous woman. King Solomon was, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all these have I not found. So Solomon was seeking to find a righteous woman. So here's what you have to understand, man. This is written in the scriptures right here. Let me see if I remember where it is. Okay, here we go. Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? Solomon wasn't able to. He had 1,000 women. He literally had 1,000 women, man. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. All right. Now, let me see if I can prove that King Solomon had 1,000 women. Let me see if my knowledge is still there to go to that scripture. And I believe it's in this scripture here. Okay, here we go. The Wadiyah Basham El Shai. 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 3. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. Now, the basic maths on that, 700 plus 300 is 1,000. So Solomon said this and he actually understood this, man. Right? And his wives turned away his heart. So it weren't even the concubines that turned away his heart, man. It were the wives, you see? And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart, man. And his wives turned away his heart, and that's why the scripture speaks, excuse me, the scripture speaks about who can find a virtuous woman, man. Because it's very rare to do so. Very rare indeed. Right? And all of these podcasts and these TikTok and all that stuff is exposing how corrupt a woman's mind is, man, and how she thinks. Right? It's showing. Now let's go to Genesis. All right, let's go to Genesis. This is Genesis chapter 3 and verse 4. And the serpent said unto the woman, "You shall not." In fact, let me go to verse 2. And the woman said unto the serpent, in fact, you know what? Let me go verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord Yahweh had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, have Yahweh said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. Now he was trying to be slick, right? And was trying to be like, you ain't supposed to do nothing. Yeah, it didn't get told that you ain't supposed to be. He was trying to say that the things that Yahweh had said that she could do, that Yahweh said you ain't supposed to do none of that stuff. He was trying to make out like Yahweh was way more, and this ain't talking about no fruit trees neither, man. Right? This is talking about something else. This is talking about wisdom, man. Right? But he was trying to make out like the ways of Yahweh is completely restrictive. That's what he was doing when he said this, right? Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden, right? So he was trying to be like, man, this is restrictive, man. Trying to make it seem like it was way more restrictions on what Yahweh told us that we can't do than it actually is. And that's what these wicked people do now in the world. Excuse me. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the trees. Excuse me, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High have said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. So as soon as she got given a little, like, oh, but there's another next kind of, you know what? There's a next kind of way though, right? Then the woman was down for that. She was down for that, man. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Eve was down to try and think that she was going to get some upper hand. She was down for that, man. And that's what you realize about women in this world anyway. They're always down to go that one extra step, man. And they're with it. And that's why with all these celebrities that keep getting exposed for doing a madness, you notice that the female ones, the stories on any female one always end quick as hell, man. And the females, as far as it goes with the females getting exposed for madness, you don't really hear no stories about that. But do you think that the female celebrities didn't do exactly the same things as what the male celebrities did? But they don't even really have honor and integrity to begin with. And that's why one of women's main techniques that they use to try and control men is to use the fact that they know that men have honor against them. So they'll try and shame men that don't want to take care of women because they know that men have honor and that men deep down want to do that. Right? But they try and use men's honor against them. Right? Verse 6, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took the fruit, which this is talking about knowledge, man. And if you just look at how the woman in this world treats the knowledge that she's been given from this world, man, right? She's seen that this knowledge of this world has got the ability to make one considered so-called wise, right? And it's got the ability to make a woman get money. So she'll be like, well, to hell with cooking and cleaning for a man. I'm about to set up that OnlyFans, nigga. And she'll set up that. And she'll be on that. And she might find that if she becomes a stripper and shakes it around and swivels it around a bit, that's 50,000 a night in certain places. If she's on Vegas or in Miami or something like that. So she'll be on that. She might find that if she sets her social media account to pretend like she lives in another city, that she can get a guy to fly her to exactly that city that she was pretending to live in. She can get some money to get flown to a holiday destination that she couldn't afford. So they're on that. It's got the ability to make you be considered wise for this world, man. She took the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And that's the thing about women, man. They don't ever want to be corrupt by themselves. They got to try and corrupt everyone else, man. So when they become a harlot, a 304, an odalisque, right, a slapper, right, they don't ever want to just be a common slapper on themselves, right? Now all their friends got to be one too. Now their friends got to be on that too, man. Now any woman that ain't on that, they try and embarrass that woman, right? They were trying to embarrass the other women that don't want to be like that. Be spreading rumors about them lying, right? Just lying. That's one of the main things that's annoying about women, man. They're just lying all the time, man. Lying about their age, for damn sure lying about their body count. Some of them will even be lying about some of the interactions that they have some of the time, man, to try and please other women or to try and compete with other women and be like, see, I'm a bad bee as well. I can get taken and flown out to places just like you can. I'm a lie. I was on a yacht last night. They've been lying about the type of guys that they've been able to date. Oh, the last guy that dated me, 5,000 a night. 5,000. He took me to. He bought me a. And then they know they're lying. They know damn well they're lying a lot of the time. The guy, there was a real guy, but he didn't spend on that. They're just trying to hope that the next guy's a sucker and he'll do it. Is it Ecclesiastes chapter 26 and verse 10? If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. And a lot of these women that are on these podcasts needed to be kept in straitly, right? And just put in an arranged marriage, man. And had their virginity protected and put in an arranged marriage, and that would be their life, man. Because what they've ended up doing instead, they've destroyed themselves, and they're on podcasts talking about how they eat this, they eat ASS, right? You know what I mean? A guy's got to have crazy amounts of money to take care of them when they know damn well that money ain't ever been spent on them in their life, right? They know damn well that the clothes that they're wearing on these podcasts and all that don't even come close to being worth 1,000 a lot of the time. They know damn well it ain't. They're lying. And that's the same for the women over in the UK, man. Women over in the UK, they're trying to get that same kind of pride and arrogance and all that. When they know that when we go into Prime, let's not play games. When us as men, some of us go into Primark, right? We see a whole bunch of women in there, in the Primark, right? We see them in there. So let's not pretend like these women are just balling out of control and they just got the bag like that. You ain't, man. So stop the lies, man. And when people check the statistics, the men still make more money than the women. But women are starting to make more money on average than they have before. But they still ain't balling like they think they are. But these podcasts have exposed that women don't care about none of that. They don't care about how much they make. They care about how much you make. And they don't care about when they make the average salary for the country, whatever they live in, that they saying they're a boss queen and all of this. They don't care that they say that they're a boss when they can just take care of themselves to a basic degree. You're a bum when you can do that. If you can't take care of yourself and herself, then you're a bum in her eyes. And that's part of the snares and nets. You're a deadbeat dad, right? If you can't buy the children every single thing that they want and every single thing that the woman wants, really, that's what the deadbeat dad thing really is. When you hear what these women are saying, it's about whether you can buy the woman something. It's got not even a lot of the time when these women are saying these things got anything to do with their children. It's about whether you can buy her something, and the child support thing is really her. She's the child that's being supported, really, man. That's what you see from these women, right? And that's why when the child support comes through, them women be dressed nice as hell all the time when you be seeing these women that have dating all these celebrity guys, man. They're dressed nice as hell. Buying the most snazzy ass car, all kind of stuff, man. But the scriptures don't speak about if a woman leaves her husband that she's supposed to get that. She's supposed to get nothing. She's supposed to go away with nothing. She leaves with nothing, man. That's what she's supposed to leave with. Since she wanted to really leave, right? Then leave them. But in this society, they'll make a woman that's an adulterer, an adulteress, leave with more than the man had when it's his money that he earned. You know what I mean? Like, this world is mad, bruv. Verse 11, watch over an impudent eye and marvel not if she trespass against thee. And that even goes for your own woman, not even just a daughter. That even goes for your own woman. Marvel not if she trespass against you, man. Because, like, the scriptures really reveal how wicked women are. But these podcasts and all this TikTok, Instagram, how women be crying on it. They'll turn on their phone, aim it at themselves, and start crying and spewing out their mind on the camera to try and get attention, right? And they'll expose how their minds really think about everything. I don't want no man to take me to none of these restaurants, and I'm gonna give the list of the restaurants that I don't want to be taken to. You know? But then I don't want to pay for nothing either. You're paying, even though I got all the money to pay, but you gotta pay. And I don't wanna pay a 50-50 on nothing, right? I want you to pay 100% of it. But then if you're not paying 100%, if you're not paying 50-50 or 100% of my thing, then guess who's paying 100? Me. And obviously understanding in terms of maths, paying half of something is a lot better than paying 100% of it by yourself. But because they're after that freedom shit, they're on that. But let them have the freedom, man. They can have all the freedom that they need now. And they can have all the freedom that they need when all hell breaks loose too, man. And if a man's got a tin of beans, that's gonna be his tin of beans, man. He ain't gonna go 50-50 on that. He can do bad by himself, man. Men are gonna get in their zone way easier than women are in that time. And the Israelite man's really gonna get in his zone, man. There's a reason why Edomites try and compare the Israelite man in certain cases to cockroaches, man. Because a cockroach can handle some harsh environments, man. Just like an Israelite can handle some harsh environments. Israelites can improvise, man. If Israelites ain't got milk, they'll use water. You understand? Or they'll use hot water, and they'll make that through their improvisation taste as though it did have water in it, man. They'll make it taste like it did have it in there. If Israelites ain't got chicken, they'll find an alternative food source, man. And they'll season it in such a way to make it taste like it was chicken. The Israelites can do that, man. But all these other nations, they can't do that though. So the Israelite man's gonna be all right when all hell breaks loose, purely because of Yahweh's gonna be guiding them through that time anyway. Verse 12, in fact, verse 11, watch over an impudent eye and marvel not if she trespass against you. So don't be surprised by the scriptures is saying, don't be surprised when women do wickedness, man. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he have found a fountain and drink every water near her. By every hedge she will sit down and will open her quiver against every arrow. Right? Now that's clear what that's talking about. And these podcasts show that, man. These daughters was shameless, but they wasn't kept in straightly, and they abused themselves through over much liberty. And now they're on these things podcasts, foaming out the mouth, exposing all the madness that they've did, right? And then they'll pull it out there into the world, how vile they are, right? And then they'll be surprised now that no man wants to take them seriously because he don't want to be embarrassed, right? He don't want to be embarrassed by a woman that's like that. When the scriptures even speak about how a man doesn't want to be embarrassed by a woman like that, man. Let me see if I can find it. Well, this scripture can go, fits the Ecclesiastes chapter 26 and verse 27. A loud crying woman and a scold shall be sought out to drive away enemies, right? That kind of woman drives people away, man. These loud mouth, twerking and twerk demons and that drives a man away. You want to run the hell away from that, man. You don't want to be around that. That's not the kind of woman that a man can find peace with ever in his life. Never in his life, man. Ecclesiastes chapter 25 and verse 16. I'd rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. Simple and plain, man. Nobody wants to be around none of these demon women, man, that be on these TikToks crying and scrambling. These women don't understand how these women. Here's the thing, man. That's mad. These women want attention from all these videos that they do, right? And then they just assume that some of these men that they be interacting with in the real world haven't seen these things, but they be doing these videos to try and get some whatever stupid fame thoughts they have in their mind, right? And then be surprised when men ain't trying to deal with them like that. Verse 17, this is the scripture I was looking for. The wickedness of a woman changeth her face, and darkness of countenance like sackcloth. And you can see in some of these women's faces, man, that they really are demons, man. Their eyes might be dark brown anyway, but there's an extra wickedness, there's extra darkness that's in their eyes because of their wickedness, man. Her husband shall sit among his neighbors. When he heareth it, he shall sigh bitterly, right? And he ain't gonna want to come home and be around that demon, man. He's gonna order a couple more pints, right? To numb the pain when he gets back home and has to be around that woman. And eventually he's gonna say, you know what? I'd rather deal with a lion and a dragon. I ain't gonna even come home tonight. I'm gonna just face the elements, man. I'm gonna just go for a long ass walk while I'm drunk, and I'm gonna keep walking. I'm gonna keep walking until I sober up, man. And that's why you often see a lot of these men that are just drunk outside and that walking down the streets, man, because they probably got a woman at home that's a demon, right? That's why you might occasionally see men sleeping in their car, man. You know what I mean? You might see that on occasion. And the scripture speaks on that it's better to live on a roof, man. It would literally be better to get a mattress, put it on a roof, right? Than to live in a house with a woman that's a demon. That's what the scriptures say. And it also says it's better to dwell with a lion and a dragon. You know, if you dwell with a lion and a dragon, well, Daniel dwelt with the lions and with lions for a time, right? And they didn't disturb him. You know what I mean? But if Daniel would have been thrown in that den with 10 LaQuisha ass 2/3 women, he would have been catching hell in that lion's den, man. If it would have been Eve in there instead, they would have been all in his ear. Oh man, you ain't no real man. You gotta get yourself out of here, man, and get us out too. You know what I mean? They would have been asking him for food, getting on his damn nerves, man. You know what I mean? And when Habakkuk brought him, like it says in the Apocrypha, when Habakkuk brought him a meal, they would have been all there with their long mouth hanging out, wanting some too, man. Asking him to spread the wealth and all that, man. Running their mouth in his ear. That would have been worse. That's what the scriptures say, man. That's not that it don't say exactly word for word that, but you have to understand Daniel was in the lion's den, and the scriptures say that it's better to dwell with a lion than with a wicked woman, man. So if there would have been wicked women in that den instead of lions, that would have been worse for Daniel, man, because the lions left him alone twice. You know what I mean? The lions left him alone twice. You think that if he would have been put in like in dens with wicked women twice, that they would have left him alone? They would have tried to see if there was a way that they could find out something that Daniel was saying and try and use that knowledge and say, oh, he's trying to do this, he's trying to do that, so that they could get themselves out of them, and they would have tried something. They would have tried something, man. It's Sirach chapter 25, verse 21, stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure, right? And that's why a lot of guys end up in snares, man, because they find some woman that looks attractive, right? And they desire her for pleasure. They're like, man, I'm gonna just do this a quick one time bam thing, right? And then I'm out, mate, right? But the woman's also got it in her mind, I'm gonna just use this guy for a quick one time bam thing. He's gonna get me pregnant, and after that, I've got all that money that he's got now. I'm gonna get access to that money for a whole smooth 18 years. And if I can really, or if I can pretend like I like him even more, I might be able to get some spousal support out of this too, because this society says I'm allowed that. So that's the law. You know what I mean? That's the law. So I'm with that. That's how they think. And if you could really just see speech bubbles over these women's heads when they're thinking and see what they're thinking, you'd be like, what the hell, man? This woman is a demon. You'd really be like, man, men are wicked. Like if let's say speech bubble was over men's heads and women's heads, and you could just see and read their thoughts, right? You'd see that women are wicked, man. And they even Mel Gibson even made a movie about that, man. What Women Want, I believe it's called. And in the movie, he was ended up being able to read and hear women's thoughts, man. And he was seeing that some of their ways were wicked and conniving, man. That's actually a decent eye-opening movie to a certain degree, man. But they tried to not make it go in on the women as much as they could have, man. You know what I mean? But that's a movie that's out there. What Women Want, I believe it is. Verse 22, a woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. And that's why all these women running around talking about how much money they make and all of that stuff is a joke. And they're talking about that kind of thing like that's supposed to impress us, but they don't want any money for the purpose of being able to take care of men. So them talking about that's a reason why we should like them, is stupid. Why should we like them for the amount of money that they make when that's not a thing that they care to use on anyone but themselves and maybe their children? But really, if your money would be taking care of the children that you and them have together, that's what they'd rather. You know what I mean? A wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh a heavy countenance, and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress, maketh weak hands and feeble knees. And these women love to say, man, I ain't trying to take care of my husband. I ain't trying to cook for my husband. That's slavery. As if they don't have to eat themselves in a day. And it's not like most of these women are out here on some gourmeting, cooking with wine and all that. You know what I mean? They ain't on that. They ain't on that cooking. They don't even really be cooking the food and then the food be fresh when it's made. They'll pre-cook it and then it will get slapped in the microwave, man. And that might be their next meal for the next dinners for the next 2 days, man. They ain't just on some gourmet thing around here, wearing aprons and that, and like they ain't not for the most part they ain't doing that, man. Some women do it, but for the most part they ain't doing that. So all the arrogance and they're talking all this and talking all of that, but they don't want to cook for men, but they don't mind a man taking out his money and paying some chef when he takes her to a restaurant to cook for them. And that's why these podcasts and all this stuff is exposed how women think, man, to where men have started saying the same things to women. They've started using satire to show women how they've been saying things, man. But when it all hell breaks loose, let's get to the point now. When all hell breaks loose, man, men are gonna be arrogant to you women, and they're gonna be doing interviews to you women, and they're gonna be like, "What was your job in the world, man? What was your job before all this stuff went down? Because I can see them long ass nails. What is your job in the world?" And the woman might still be simple as hell. And she gonna be like, well, I had an OnlyFans and I was a boss queen. I'm out of here. Next. Men are gonna be arrogant as hell when all hell breaks loose, man. They're gonna be interrogating you women and trying to find out everything, man. They're gonna be trying to find out all the details, like how you women try and find out everything about men. Or where do you work? Or how long you've been there. And then they got some human calculator going on in their mind. Oh, that means that he makes roughly this amount a year. Let me check his watch. Let me check his shoes. Let me check this. Let me check. We're going to be checking you out, man. We're going to be examining you in that time. Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel, only let us be called by thy name to take away our approach. Men are going to have the power and the ability to filter through several women and decide who they want to talk to, man. Which men have that ability kind of in this world now, but not to the amount that they would like to have it. Right? Not to the degree that they'd like to have it, man. Micah chapter 7 and verse 10. Then she that is my enemy shall see it. The women are going to see that. They're going to see men being able to have their pick of the litter. And all that stuff where these women are trying to call that attitude and that mentality that men are having, sassy and all that. No, that's a man acting like how a king would act. If these women was ever able to go and be among King Solomon's rule, King Solomon from the scriptures rule, right? You think any of these women would be able to stand in front of Solomon, talking all that madness? They wouldn't know what to do if they was around King Solomon, and they wouldn't know what to do if they ever saw his father, neither King David. They wouldn't know what to do, man. They wouldn't be able to handle that, man. They wouldn't be able to really handle being around a man like that. But that kind of mentality is being reborn again. And it started when the Israelite man remembered that he was an Israelite, man. That's a very powerful thing for a man to know about himself. It really changes a man's mindset about himself and about the world in general. And gives him belief in him, not necessarily in himself, but belief in Yahweh, that he's not the dirtbag piece of garbage that this world's trying to tell him that he is. Then she that is my enemy shall see, and shame shall cover her. Which said, and that's when we're going to finally see these women not be proud, man. When they realize that the Israelite man is in fact the best man on the earth, right? Which the Israelite woman deep down knows that anyway. And that's why she's mad about the passport bros thing, about how man are now talking about some soft guy error and all that madness, right? They're complaining. That's why they complain when the Israelite man gets himself any other woman, especially if he gets himself a woman that looks like an Edomite woman, man. That's why they complain about that. Because they already know that the Israelite man's better than every other man. But at the same time, they want to try and talk to him like he ain't nothing. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous, really. But that goes into how a woman's mind is snares and nets, which ultimately means that their mind's wicked. Where is Yahweh thy power? Excuse me, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is Yahweh thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now she shall be trodden down as the mire of the streets. So these women are going to be heavily corrected, man, and all that stuff that they learned from social media and from the internet and these podcasts, all the things that they've spewed out in these podcasts. Some of these women are going to get seen by actual Israelite men that believe the truth, man. And they're going to remember them, and they're going to try and fake humble it off and that. And it's not going to work, man. It's not going to work in that time. Shalom.